All right, welcome to the long-term podcast.
Yay.
Dabi Kim, everyone,
Hello.
otherwise known as Sushi Canny on Instagram
Yeah, and YouTube if
and
you want to
YouTube.
subscribe.
So what originally drew you to powerlifting, and how has your approach to training evolved since you started?
Yeah, so I kind of discovered powerlifting through one of my really good friends, Ethan. Shout out Ethan. He started making like a lifting account, and at the U of A, there's like a powerlifting club, and so I like discovered all that through him because before I had like never like known about powerlifting before. Like the only kind of sports I did growing up was like gymnastics and volleyball. So like I never really stepped foot into like the weightlifting world kind of. And then at the same time, my parents started going to like a gym and they were like, hey, like, do you want to come? And so I was like, sure. So like I started going. I was like super inconsistent, had no idea what I was doing. I like filmed some stuff for fun. And now when I look back on it, like my form is so bad. But like since then I've just like at first like I just tried to like program myself. Like I even have a little post on my Instagram that's like, oh, like this was the first day I ever like did a programmed like upper body day. And so like it's kind of cool to look back on now. But like then I eventually in March 2024 got a coach. And then so I kind of just like took his advice and then started like seriously like going to the gym super consistently and like powerlifting like full on then after that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I remember when I started, I didn't know what I was doing, right? And so it was at the school gym with a couple of buddies, and we were inspired by just the videos we've seen online and just from the benefits that we've heard about, like within class, within health class, and gym, right? Apparently exercise, weightlifting was really good for you. So we went to the school gym and then we would hit one set of every single exercise. No, like we'd do bench, and then after that we'd do some curls, and after that we'd just go on the treadmill. But hey, at the start, the beginner gains are there.
That's true.
Like
that's
no matter what
true.
you do, it was there. How was that experience like for you when you started? Like you said, you didn't really know what you were doing. But you must have seen a lot of progress still though, hey?
Yeah, definitely. I have like so many before and after photos. And it's so funny that you say you started out like at like the school gym. Cause like, I guess like if you go way, way back in grade 10 at my school, we had like a sports performance class that like I enrolled in, but I hated it. I hated it so much. Like I genuinely kid you not. I ended up that year also breaking my wrist because of volleyball. So I got my mom to write me notes that I couldn't do any sort of weightlifting, even though my other arm was like fine, because I did not want to like do like this weightlifting class at all. So it's kind of literally. Yeah. So it's kind of funny that like I'm here now, but like the beginner gains definitely went crazy. Like at first I feel like it was like pretty slow, but then I kind of learned more about nutrition and like protein and stuff like that. And then as soon as I started actually like eating protein and things like that and eating more, I definitely like saw way more gains, because I think I was around like I weighed around like 50 kilos for like a good chunk between like since like 2020 up until like 2023. And then since then I've gained like 7 kilos, but that's like a good chunk of that has purely just been muscle. And like my body, like looking at old pictures, looks like a lot better, and I look leaner and almost like look like I weigh less because of like where the fat is stored in my body now. So it's like completely like, even though I'm heavier, I look like way healthier and way more lean, which is something that's like really cool to see. And I didn't know that would happen. So
yeah, nutrition's a big part of it, and like certain muscle activation is it's what gets you from like a beginner level status to just intermediate, right? And you start dialing in like the macros, and it's like and it's like form starts to matter. Like of course it matters at the start, but with time under tension, right? And going on days where you don't want to go, that's also something that you need to establish, is like the mindset with actually sticking to the plan. Because if you just kind of go to the wayside and sleep doesn't matter, diet, eventually you won't get the results. Because from all the people you hear, or majority of people, diet is one of the harder parts, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you can go in there and you can go, just give it your all, but without the proper energy as you said, with learning about protein and kind of having the tool set to be able to select the right food and control yourself, right? Because you can have a plan and it may not go towards that plan, right?
Yeah.
Because we're human, and there's cravings, and there's times where you just want to sit down.
Yeah.
So with your diet plan, what was that journey like for you?
Yeah, so definitely like up and down a lot of the times, cuz yeah, I like was trying to like balance like how much like protein I needed, cuz at the start like I never like counted calories and stuff like that, and I only really track protein. And like now currently I've kind of reverted that to like just tracking calories very loosely, and also just tracking protein, because I always tell myself that I never want to be in like a place where I'm like freaking out that like I went over calories, I'm under protein, because that just like messes up your mental health. And like when I was fully tracking like all my macros, I was working with a nutrition coach, because I always tell people like if you're gonna like track everything, in my personal opinion, like you should be seeing a professional, you should be working with a professional, because you never know when you're going to get into that sort of like eating disorder like territory, whether that's with malnutrition or overnutrition, which is something I'm like minoring in nutrition right now in university. And so that's something we talk about a lot, is that like both like malnutrition and even overnutrition, like too much of anything is still like really not good. So just like figuring out, like with my coach, I was able to figure out how many calories, protein, carbs, and fats I needed to like help me function. But we always like adjusted, and I never like, what's it called? Like restricted myself too much, because it's like life's too short to like not eat that chocolate bar you want, It's like, and over time, like it's always just gonna be like a little blip. Like if you like mess up one day, you just like eat a bunch of donuts, like in the grand scheme of things, like it's not gonna like crazy like what's it called, like tear apart your progress in a day, kind of thing. So right now I'm just back to like, yeah, like calories and protein. And since I'm going on vacation next week, I am just like kind of in the mindset of like I'm gonna eat what I want, but also like moderation, like keeping like mindset and stuff, like being mindful of like what I'm eating as well. Because I've also had like personally I've had like stomach issues in the past, and like so the tracking of like protein and being just mindful of what I'm consuming and eating has helped my digestive system a lot too in general. So it's just like helped a lot of things. But like in the end, it's been like, I think it's best to like see a professional, and that it's like never going to be like perfectly linear. Like not every day is going to be like, you're going to hit this goal, you're going to like hit that perfectly. Cause it's just like, it's not realistic, You still want to have like fun, and you want to enjoy yourself. And like the relationship with food shouldn't be something that's like really like detrimental on like your mental health.
Yeah. Where are you going on vacation?
I'm going to Korea.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah, back to the motherland.
Nice. But yeah, that's one of the places I'd want to visit one of these days. I just love the culture and the food you guys have.
No, it's awesome.
But yeah, self-introspection is one of those things that you need to take into account when you are dieting.
Yeah.
Right? Because no matter how healthy you are, you have to question the day to day. Like, how are you feeling? Like, sure, maybe you are in the 1% when it comes to dieting, whether, you're limiting all the carbs because it makes you feel some type of way, it makes your gains prosper.
Yeah.
But is this something where if you do mess up, you're establishing guilt, and that guilt leads to just looking in the mirror and chastising yourself, which leads to just not getting out of bed, which actually just leads to your interactions with your family to a negative point. And next thing you know, you're lashing out, right? It's that balance, and you yourself know that yourself, right? You can have a coach, and maybe that coach is knowledgeable with which type of macronutrients and which type of micronutrients. You can get a blood test to see which vitamins, which minerals that you're depleted with. But if you don't actually consciously take into account how you're feeling on that type of food and that type of regime, and seeing kind of your social life holistically, then you might be in a path of destruction. And I've been there, right? Where I mess up, and it's like the mental milieu right in your head. It's not pretty, and it destroys everything that you strive towards, which is the dichotomy of fitness, right? Is there's people will seem to think that a lot of people that you see that are ripped, that are just insanely in shape, that do everything that they can to maximize efficiency when it comes to being healthy. But on the other side of that, what leads a person to that path? Is it a feeling of like not being enough? Is it a feeling of, that just looking in the mirror and getting that body dysmorphia? Are they comparing themselves to everybody around them? There's like a myriad of things.
No, exactly. Right? And I think it like definitely ties into like how like people get body dysmorphia, and then the fact that people also like, if you're like stick skinny, it doesn't mean you're healthy. And then if you're like, you look like you're like overweight or on the bigger side, it doesn't necessarily mean you're unhealthy. Because like I've seen a lot of things, and I always stand by this, is that like health and like fitness, and I can't think of the exact word, but I guess like how fit you are is also measurable. So if you're going to like test somebody just based on looks, like if you grab like two people off the street, like a thinner person and a bigger person, and then you test them like fitness and like how fast you can run, like things like that, those things are measurable. So like just because somebody looks a certain way doesn't always mean that they're like either healthy or unhealthy, because everyone also like stores like fat in their body differently. They store like muscle in their body differently. Like some people like can easily like get abs, but other people are going to have to try harder just because of like genetics and things like that. So like sometimes like when I compare myself to like how someone else looks, I try to think of like that kind of stuff too. And that like sometimes like truly life just gets in the way. Like even though like it'd be awesome just to like only work out and like just try to eat properly all the time, it's like not realistic. Like everyone has like school, jobs, like other commitments, and so sometimes it's like we don't live in like a perfect world, that like some people like portray on social media, like sort of thing.
Yeah. So what if you don't get enough sleep that night? So be it. If you eat that donut, yeah, so be it. But then again, if you're gaining pounds with it, if you're just constantly lethargic, if that sleep deficiency leads to you being anxious, yeah, you should probably change your habits. But if you miss one thing, right? And this is for the people in the fitness industry, who are the people who work out 5 to 6 times a week. And I'm sure you have many friends like this. And I feel like this sometimes too. We don't need to chastise ourselves. We don't need to put ourselves down, right? And like what you said about like internally, a lot of people, you don't know what's going on, right? And to judge somebody on the external side, just because they may be on the heavier side doesn't mean they're unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right? I run marathons here and there, and there's people that are they just look overweight, and they just blast the marathon in 4 hours, and they lap me, and I'm like, what is this? It shattered kind of my reality, my mental framework onto why does this person look so healthy, look so toned, but they are slower, and then the person who is a bit overweight just seems to have more of a more powerful heart. Like, what is this? And it goes back into like, how does one person feel, right? It always goes back to that, because I think as a society, we are constantly just wanting to prioritize looks, and it's tough, because that's all what we're trying to optimize for.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's true.
And
though
like with the aesthetics, right? And like Instagram, like social media is just kind of centered around that. And it's hard to not focus on the looks, but really at the end of the day, what really matters is how you feel about yourself, right? How you look in the mirror and see, okay, do you actually like this person?
No, exactly. Like I think like feeling is like so important, and I think like it's annoying that like looks low-key tie into that too, like when I mean, it's like because like I'm not gonna like lie, some days I wish I'm just like, oh, like it doesn't matter how you look, like it doesn't matter, but like like to me, like when I look good, like I feel good, kind of thing. And so it kind of sucks that like, at least for me, and I know a lot of other people, it's like so like like kind of they're so like tied together, but it's like trying to like get out of that mentality kind of thing. Like you wanna, even though you like you don't look good, you're still gonna like try to be as consistent as possible and stuff like that. So you just like gotta keep going if you have a bad day.
Yeah, and like speaking with looks, it is a great predictor for the health of someone, right? You can immediately tell if someone's healthy just on the look on their face and kind of their skin tone. But at the same time, you need to take that with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
You need to view that and go, okay, that looks may be a predictor for health, but that doesn't mean I need to place my entire self-worth onto that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm also a student, I'm also a son or like a daughter, or I'm also a person that's wanting to have a fulfilling career one day. Like, and you know, there's just a myriad of things that make you who you are. So placing too much of your self-worth onto your looks is just a catastrophe, which a lot of us do.
Yeah.
What, as a content creator, how do you balance sharing your authentic fitness journey with the pressure to look or perform a certain way online?
Dude, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. Like, it's like really hard trying to balance like authenticity and aesthetics, because I feel like Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that, and just like people in general, I feel like one of the reasons people go on social media is like for a distraction and to like see other people's lives. That's why I feel like, you know, the videos that are like, I'm a millionaire, like this is my morning routine, like people like eat that shit up because like it's like you want to have that. So in like
sorry to cut you off. Do you remember?
No,
do you remember Lil Tay?
Yes.
Lil Tay stacks some money. I think she's back online now.
I think so, but like we all know, like on the down low, everyone was low key jealous of this 9-year-old like who had like bank and like didn't do anything. No, literally. So it's like so difficult trying to like be like, hey, like I don't have like a super aesthetic life, but at the same time, it's like I want to have like a super aesthetic life, because like my kind of social media journey started. I did like pen pal content and stuff like that. So I did like it was like the whole thing of that community is very aesthetic based, because it's a lot of like hand lettering and like you like what's it called? Like you're making these like pen pal letters to send out, but like they all look super aesthetic. I'll show you a picture later.
Okay,
it's really
art.
niche.
It's like an art account.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like an art account. That's a better way to describe it. It's like it's like a super niche thing though. Like it's really niche, but like because I started like that, there's like a whole niche of like the super like really aesthetic like Asian content where you're like making a matcha in the morning, like this is my like get ready with me. So like a lot of like my brain is kind of still in that. So like when I take pictures, I'm like, oh, I have to like arrange like my breakfast in the morning to look super aesthetic and stuff like that. And or like I'll put a filter on it so it doesn't look like shit and like stuff like that. So like I try my best to like make like authentic content, but I also like what's it called, like try to still make it aesthetic, so it's still like it's kind of like a balance, but like I've been trying to center more on like the reality of stuff, because I also just like hate like being fake, like trying to be like fake online, because like I know it's like inevitable, because at the end of the day like Instagram and YouTube and stuff is like truly only showing the highlights, but like that's why I've been trying to like on YouTube and stuff post like mental health vlogs. Like this is like a week where I felt like absolute shit, and it's just like come with me to like try to fix it, or we'll just be sad together, like that kind of stuff. So I think it definitely is like just trying to find the in between of it, because like I do like making stuff aesthetic, like it is fun, but then it also gets to a point where it's like super exhausting, and then you're just portraying this like online persona to like people that's not actually you. So it's like just kind of finding that like happy medium, you know?
Yeah, it's the struggle, because you want to be the presence that you take online, you want it to be positive, but at the same time you also want to be truthful, and it's kind of the in between, right? Where it's like, okay, I can't just be happy all the time, because when people scroll through my Instagram or like even the podcast, they'll just see all laughs, right? When you see all the positivity, but that's not like a good predictor of who I am as a person, right? It's not until you actually sit down with me right? Or talk to me in person, which I will tell you the truth, right? Depending on how close you are. I'm not just going to trauma dump, you know? But this is why I like the long form kind of sit down content is I get to just tell people that like within fitness, it is tough to make these videos and I am miserable a lot of the time, but I still do it anyways because I know I'm passionate about it and I don't want to I don't want to sit around today and do nothing and just watch Netflix. No, there's that truth that I think a lot of people really crave for. That's why people like Sam Sulek are really popular now. Yeah. Like just sit down, not much editing, and you just talk about what's in your mind. And you tell the truth, right? Because with, even with the music industry, Hollywood, even in academia, right? It's all just highlights, right?
Yeah.
Nobody likes to talk about the negative because
exactly.
I don't want to bring the mood down.
Yeah.
It's just like I want people to tune in and think positively and leave my show or my account with a new sense of kind of purpose or just see me in a light where it is positive. But what I've noticed is the people that actually hone in on vulnerability, they're actually much more liked than the people that just have the persona of they're untouchable and they're relentless in their pursuit, but they never show any sign of weakness.
Yeah.
I think I always reflect on this and like, why do I like certain content creators? And I did some reflecting and I like certain content creators because they tell me the struggle. Like a lot of them are millionaires that I look up to, and a lot of them have had great lives. But then they tell me that, like this fortune of fame, of wealth, of being super, super attractive and having all these healthy habits, that it's not the answer in some cases, right? Maybe
exactly.
like putting external value onto certain modalities isn't the answer. The answer is from within. And then that sounds real cheesy, right? But I always hear that time and time again. And kind of the way people go about it is through the vulnerability. Through, like, yes, you are this jacked person online that I follow, but you're human. Like it's like that human element that a lot of us want.
No, exactly. Something I struggle with though is like I want to be as vulnerable and like real and like show people that, but I also like whenever I post a video of me, like let's say just like complaining about how shitty my day was, like maybe this is just because I'm like hyper anxious, but sometimes I'll watch it back and I'm like, I feel like I have to put like some sort of disclaimer out or something, because it's like at the same time it's like, I had a shit day, but like certain stuff in my day I'm so privileged like to be able to be living like the current life I'm living, that makes sense, because
yes, I'm putting this out and I'm telling you I'm having a shit day, but I'm not saying my life, I'm not whining, I'm complaining about my life. It's just a bad day and I'm letting my emotions out, and that's okay just to show to others. But I'm also not, I know that there's things around the world that people are going through a worse time than me, and I shouldn't be like, you feel that guilt, right? Where it's like, my problems aren't that bad, but in my head, they're just terrible.
No, exactly. It's like hard to balance because I'm like, I know my problems are still valid, but it's like, and like other people are going to the same thing, but like there's always a tiny voice in me that's like, I think that's why sometimes I get hesitant to post certain things and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, like no matter what you post, like someone's gonna say shit, someone's gonna like complain about it. So it's like, might as well do it. But no, like you were saying, like it truly does like take 10 years to become an overnight success. Like that kind of like phrase I've been like trying to like tell myself that like nothing is like instant. It's all like delayed like gratification that you have to like kind of go through the process of. So
yeah, the people that receive or acquire grand success very quickly usually lose it very quickly.
Short term.
Like a lot of, you see this in children actors, right? A lot of them, don't see the value in kind of what they're amalgamated to, because they've hit the jackpot, right? But they don't know it, right? Or kids that 18-year-olds who make it big on YouTube and are making millions.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a lot of them, not all the time, but a lot of them abuse that power and they take it for granted.
Oh yeah.
Or just a lot of people that are born into wealth, right? I think it's a good thing that, I wasn't given like a platform or like wealth, because I've had to like work for everything in my life. Like first car, first camera, first laptop, just everything. And now I know the value of money, which is I talk to some people, and when they're just given it, right, you don't see the value in it, and then you just kind of misplace it. And if it gets stolen, it's whatever, I'll buy a new one. But that's where people hold on to the things that are worth to them because they worked hard for it. Yeah. And this is great for like powerlifting, for content creation, right?
Yeah.
If you were just given the content, if somebody just made it for you and you don't actually go through the angles, go through kind of maybe have a script in mind, and maybe when you go to bed you plan out kind of what you're going to film tomorrow, and when you're at the gym, that angle or that PR, right? And building up an arsenal of all these tools because you've done it for so long. Yeah. It's the effort that is always there, right? That makes people feel fulfilled.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I remember like I recently, when was it? And at the end of the March, I hit like a meet PR of like my 50 kg for my bench. And so that was like a huge like awesome goal, because I remember when I started out, I could not even bench the bar. Like I genuinely could not. I have videos of me like failing the bar. And so like it's kind of like cool like seeing like progress, like when you're literally at zero and you're able to like measure it that much, like whether that's like in content creation, like whether like you literally started from like a fresh new account and now you're at like certain amount of followers, like even like 50 or 100, like that's still like a good amount of people. Like that's like 50 hopefully real people, not bots, but assuming they're real people, it's like imagine 50 people like standing in front of you kind of thing. It's like still like little momentums, like little goals that like you should still celebrate like along the way kind of thing.
Like celebrating the small wins.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And actually I was just watching a reel before you came, and this guy, my favorite podcaster of all time, Chris Williamson, hosted the Modern Wisdom podcast. He said that the things that you have accomplished that you said would make you happy, they've been done, right? Yeah. And I'm always trying to project towards the future, right? And it's like that. Remember kind of the happiest time in your life, and whether you worked hard for it and you finally put in sweat, blood, and tears, and then it dissipated, right? But in your head, you thought that it would complete everything, right? Or once you hit the 50 followers or 100 followers, or finally get 100th episode released on the podcast. Yeah. Like I look back and I go, like, yes, I've come so far, but I don't realize it because I still feel the same.
I completely understand what you mean. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if I'm gonna like be a millionaire one day. I hope I do with kind of being smart about my money, or getting 1 million followers. I like the dream, right?
Yeah.
I wonder. I think I'll still feel the same. I'll still be me. But then I'll have more reach. I'll have more influence. Yeah. But I think that the things that do make me at more peace, it's usually just getting more sleep and getting a better workout, more connection with the family. Like, yes, it's great. Content creation it's like a hobby, right? But if you attach your self-worth and happiness to this, like we talked about with looks, you're setting yourself up for failure. No, exactly. Because I find myself scrolling through the YouTube Studio or like the Spotify for Podcasters app. Just I didn't
refreshing.
I'm not getting enough subscribers, or this one didn't get enough views. But it's just, you're doing better than you were a year ago. Look how far you've come. And for the people that don't start, right, you're making your dream come true, and you won't have to regret this point in your life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I always constantly have to remind myself with, right? Because when you put in so much effort into your craft and it doesn't amalgamate to anything, it's like, fuck. You know, what am I like? I find myself editing sometimes and I'm like, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? But it's trick question. You're doing it for you.
Exactly. No, that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, it's like whenever I feel like absolute shit, like, oh, this like YouTube, Instagram thing isn't going anywhere. It's like, think about like you said, like 10 years from now, like long term.
Yeah.
But like being able to watch yourself back and like the thoughts you kind of had, it's like, it always like kind of grounds me in a way, if it's even if it sounds kind of cheesy, because it's like at the end of the day, you like, as long as you're doing it like for yourself, then it's like a little bit of like motivation that'll keep like pushing you along the way, you know?
Yeah. On my way back from the gym last night, I was just after a good workout, good cardio, I was driving home, no music, no podcast. I just like to reflect. And I thought about how fortunate it was to just have some guests come in the next couple of days, right? And be able to just hit a workout. And I'm like, I've already won the lottery. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was a great freeing feeling, but I know it wasn't permanent, right? I'm always just, now I woke up this morning like, fuck, like life again, you know, I gotta hit a workout, you know, I'm so tough, but it's just reframing that, right? I get to work out. I get to use my legs.
All about mindset.
Yeah. It's all mindset, which is like a lot of people like online think, oh, that's so trite, right? Like that's like, there's so many things going on in my life. Who are you to say, right? It's just in my mindset, like this thing with my mom or like the childhood trauma is like, yes, I agree with that. But holding on to those emotions and not finding a solution for them and just complaining about it isn't doing you any good. It's not doing any of your loved ones any good. And it's not doing the world any good.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I'm guilty of that too, right? I get into those like bad thought spirals and it's never positive. It's never net positive. I'm never like, wow, like when I was worrying, when I was just thinking that the world was gonna end, and I was never
so much.
that helped me excel on life. That like no, never. What advice would you give to beginners, especially women, that who feel intimidated stepping into the weight room?
Oh, definitely like find like a gym that has like a women's only section, or like just like a smaller gym. And like I am like a very hyper anxious person. So like when I first started going to the gym, I only stayed in like the women's area, like because thankfully my gym like had like that section. And I think like now a lot of gyms are like slowly opening just more women's only areas, because I think like when you look around, it's a lot of like other people who are starting out. So like doing that can be less intimidating. But I also like kind of like Google has this option for most businesses where you can kind of see what times are also the busiest, like the gym. And so I ended up like kind of going when it said it was like the least busy. And so doing that like helped a lot, because I was also just like, I was super anxious on my like about my form. And like I still do this sometimes. Like I'll like pull up like a TikTok or a video and like how to like do this exercise, but I'll like turn down my screen brightness because I'm like, I don't want anyone to see me watching this video. So like just like going to like quieter areas, or like planning a workout before, or even like I love that like a lot of gyms have like free trials and like personal trainers. So like if there's like even like one or two exercises that you've really wanted to try, but you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this like at all, it's like nice to like use like those resources and like the free trials and stuff like that. But like I'd like use as many resources as you can go when like the gyms are quieter, or like bring a friend. I know when I also first started, I like my gym had like guest passes and stuff like that. So I brought a friend and like we went together, and like then you can look stupid together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Going into the weight room or just any form of physical activity, you're doing something good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for your brain, for your body, for your spiritual journey, like everything, right? And granted, you're not just ego lifting and you're not there just for the bad reasons. Just if you're actually genuinely there to make yourself better, right? And just I know like, I don't really know what it's like, but it must be for women. It's majority of guys in there, right? And it's just I'd probably feel the same way if it was the other way around, right? If it's just a bunch of women and you feel different, right?
Yeah, it's like just super intimidating too. Because I remember when I like in first year uni when I tried to like go to the U of A gym, there's just so many people who were like
Packed. Yeah.
super jacked too. So it's like really, really intimidating at first. But like a lot of the people, like it's like really scary. But something I wish I did more of was like talk to more people and ask people like, hey, like I saw you doing this exercise. Could you help me with my form? Because the people who are truly like there for fitness and like for like growth and are like super, super kind. Anybody who is genuinely like what's it called? Like not like ego lifting, because you can always kind of tell, right, when someone is kind of like ego lifting, or if you come up to them and then they're like really rude, it's honestly probably because they're insecure too. So it's like the people who like aren't insecure and like actually know what they're doing are always really kind, and that's what I've like experienced. So like just find a gym where it's like the community is super strong. Like it's kind of hard and you're going to have to initiate yourself, but like bit by bit. Also, it's good for rejection therapy.
Yeah. Kind of exposure therapy.
Yeah, if someone says no, then you're like, okay, bye.
Yeah, I there's a place here called Millennium Place, which is the gym that I go to. It's just the biggest recreational facility in Sherwood Park, and so been there almost 10 years.
Oh, damn.
And I've gotten to witness how people have evolved when it comes to what was trending. Like it used to be just like shorts and tank tops and like Gymshark. There's a Gymshark phase.
Oh yeah.
And now it's just like a bunch of guys with the joggers and a black tank top. You notice that?
Yeah, no, literally at the U of A gym,
Yeah.
I kid you not, there was this guy who was like using a machine beside me, black tank top, gray joggers, and then I turned to go up the stairs, another guy with the same haircut, black tank top and joggers, and I like did a double take. I was like, that guy's still there, but there's a guy who looks just like him over there.
No, and I actually I didn't notice it, but wait, I'm wearing the same thing. So I kind of just like evolved as to, I didn't even do it consciously.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like look at that and go, like I just like, oh, that black tank top like looks pretty good, and gray, joggers or gray sweats. I'm like, I'll put
I mean,
that
as
on.
long as it makes you feel confident, like that's the true thing. Whether you're like going in a full like sweatsuit or if you're wearing like a tiny little sports bra with like shorts, it's like it's a gym. Like no one no one has the right to tell you, like, unless you're like butt naked. Maybe that's a little bit.
I've also seen that where like there's some. It's not usually the guys, but it does happen with guys where like you're in a literal bikini. You seen that?
No, or some people just got their dogs out at the gym, bro, like fully bare. No, like your feet. Their feet are just like fully bare on the floor. Like some scary things at university gyms. But
It's like, what are you?
Like put some shoes on or socks, like at least socks.
They're just trying to stand like be original, okay?
Jump scare.
But that's like, going back to like my point with the Millennium Place. Usually the people that are kind, that are nice, going there for almost 10 years now. They're the ones who have people go up to them and they develop fulfilling friendships, or people that respect them, people that actually approach them, right? And then there's people that have been going there the same time as me, and I've noticed nobody goes up to them. They just kind of, and that's depending on your goals, right? Like I'd say for majority of people, not for everyone, like more friends, more connections, anywhere, it's always going to be a good thing, right? But maybe they just have a lot more friends, and so they just want to do their own thing and not really talk to people, and that's that. But then there are also the people that are just assholes, and those guys definitely don't make anyone in their vicinity uplifted, and that's like people just, and what you notice is people like to talk, right? And if you have a bad altercation with someone, usually if that other person is friends with another person in the gym, they'll tell that other person, and then it just spreads. Right? And or more likely than not, somebody else will have a story with that same person with a bad altercation, and it spreads, and now nobody wants to be around you.
Right?
No, exactly. And so that's that's the beauty of the gym, right? Is most
Mhm.
people are nice, kind, but if you build a reputation where you're not nice, nobody's gonna want to approach you.
Oh yeah.
And that's that's how it is, and I'm
Mhm.
thankful for that, because
Mhm.
usually majority of the gyms that I've went to, everybody's so accepting and
Yeah.
so kind and compassionate,
Mhm.
and I remember some guy pointing out my mistakes at the start,
Mhm.
and now I do the same for others, right?
Yeah.
And now we're all building each other up.
Yeah, exactly.
hmm So how has lifting and physical training impacted your mental health, both positively and negatively?
Ooh, positively given me like a lot more like confidence, I think. Like especially like wearing certain outfits, like your body like the muscles and like when you just look at yourself in the mirror, you just feel like more confident. So in that way, it's definitely helped a lot. And like my social anxiety, because I have like diagnosed like anxiety and like panic disorders. And so like being able to like kind of be in a space where a lot of people or the majority of people are super welcoming and like always down to like give you a spot, or like if you ask to work in with someone, they'll be like, oh, like sure, of course. Like it's gotten like a lot easier and helped like my confidence and just like opening up to people and stuff like that. Cause I'd say I'm pretty extroverted, but last year I took like a gap year. So just like I didn't do school for a year. And so that made me like low-key a hermit because I just stayed home like all the time. So it's nice like coming like putting yourself back out there and like having the confidence to like approach someone, because like sometimes when the gyms are busy like and you want a machine, you just gotta work in with the person, right? But sometimes it's scary to be like, can I work in with you? But everyone's super super nice about it and stuff like that. So like yeah, and like just going to the gym like has helped me like not have like a really bad panic attack in like a year. So that's like really awesome because it's basically free dopamine, right? Like it helps your body in like so many ways. Um, but negatively, like honestly, just like comparison, like it comes and goes a lot of the time, but like just comparing yourself to other people, like we talked about, like online and like stuff like that. Like sometimes, like especially during exam season, like 2 weeks ago, I got really sick, and then I was like, oh, I like am like slacking on school and the gym, but it's like if you're not healthy, then it's like there's nothing you can do, you know. But like at the same time, it's like you think sometimes like, oh, I'm like losing all my gains, like because I haven't gone for a week or like stuff like that. So like in a way, like it kind of like sometimes like triggers the body dysmorphia, and like when I become like really obsessive like about the way I look or about how much I'm lifting, then like I tend to like hyper focus on the negative. But then like things like talking to like friends and stuff like really helps, like having that community behind you that's like, hey, like just because you were sick for a week, you're not gonna like not be able to like bench the bar, like kind of thing. So like kind of like bringing you back to reality. But there's like, so there's positives and negatives, but I'd say like the positives much more like outweigh the negatives. So like I think in the end, like it all like comes together, and it's like the little like negatives are always just like kind of like a blip in the system, like when you look at the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah. As a person with social anxiety, that must have been really
Mhm.
daunting, because you said when you first
Yeah.
started, you didn't really know what you were doing. And you said you still struggle with
Mhm.
it to this day a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's gotten better.
Yeah.
Now, what was your first experience with social anxiety at the gym like? Was your heart racing a bunch? Like what was the mental framework like going in there?
Mm, honestly, like I was very thankful that like like I've said, when I first started going, it was with my parents. So I like luckily kind of just like followed my dad like wherever he was going. So that like kind of helps. So I always encourage people to like bring a friend or something, because that definitely helps too. But like the times when I was just like alone by myself, I honestly just tried to like keep to myself and told myself that like, oh, like other people are probably like too worried about themselves to like look at me half the time. And it's definitely true, because I've definitely failed on bench multiple times and then just like struggled at the bottom, but then no one comes to help because no one's paying attention.
Yeah.
So, but like,
That
I
must have
think,
been like a big epiphany. Hey, like, oh,
yeah,
nobody gives a fuck.
no, literally though. But I think I was just like, if I'm being fully honest, probably just really sweaty. But like no one can tell because it's a gym. So
Yeah.
like it ended up being fine. But like
Yeah.
I remember something that was like even more nerve-wracking was trying to film for the first time in the gym. I remember being really scared of doing that because I like after the pen pal content, I did fashion content and then I did fitness content. And so when I first started filming at the gym, I was super scared that someone was gonna say something, but honestly nobody cared at the end of the day. I remember being just trying to be as low key as possible, try to make sure the camera is really close to me and stuff like that. But otherwise, I can't remember anything too dramatic, nothing terrifying. There was no oh, I'm never coming back to the gym experience. So
you should do gym pranks. That'd be the next level.
God.
So that was PayPal or what's a fashion and then gym content, then gym pranks, and then campus pranks. That's actually it's something I want to yeah, that's something that I want to talk to campus about. He should do pranks.
I think he should those really harmless pranks because I think that'd be super funny.
Yeah, just that'd be really funny. He'd pop off if he did that.
I think so.
Yeah, that's awesome. But it wasn't PayPal. No, was it PayPal? But the first content
pen paling.
I keep thinking pen pal. Right, is that still a lot? Is it still hot these days? Is it trending?
There's just a niche for it. There's still a ton of people. It goes into I don't know if you've seen accounts that make stickers and stuff like that and stationery. It's kind of like stationery studygram kind of stuff. So I think it's still decently popular. But yeah, going from that where I literally only just filmed in my room. I'd film and take pictures of my lettering and stuff on my desk, and then the fashion content I would film in my room to filming out in public was a really big jump. But it was nice that I double checked with the staff that I was okay to film as long as it was just me and stuff like that. And I've only ever gotten one complaint, and I was confused because apparently someone reported me to the front desk, and then I checked my video. I was nobody's in this footage except me, but whatever. I was a little salty because I was
oh, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, no, I was because they were. I also wish that person, whoever that was, came up to me directly, because instead they pussied out. They went to the front desk.
Pussies.
And then no, literally. And so the front desk told me, but I was I explained and stuff like that.
You should have hopped up on the table and whoever it was that complained to me, you're a pussy.
Start screaming, throwing the weights everywhere.
Yeah. That's how you show dominance. As someone who's active online, how do you protect your mental space from the pressures of social media and comparison?
Bro, I just take a break. Honestly, the best way, I'm even doing it right now, low-key on a mini break, just to until I'm finished packing, getting ready for the trip and stuff like that. It's the best thing you can do is just take a break. It kind of sucks because in my back of my mind, I'm always maybe I'll lose my audience if I take a break too long or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's you have to protect your peace and your mental health and stuff like that, because it's it's just never worth it. Crying about something as silly as social media views and stuff like that. Even though it is a thing that you're passionate about and you want to grow, and I'm super passionate about it. It's also in the grand scheme of things, it's I'm should I be really wasting my time being sad that my Instagram views aren't going up? When I look at it in that perspective, I'm this is silly. It's just time to take a mental break, because at the end of the day, even though doing Instagram and YouTube would be my dream job and I'd love to do it full time, it's right now it is, or I never wanted to feel like a weight on me, if that makes sense, kind of thing. Yeah.
Chris Williamson has this idea of observable metrics and hidden metrics. A lot of people will sacrifice hidden metrics, such as peace, such as sleep, such as the connections they have with people, for more views, for more money, for more things that you can see. Because when people can't see a certain thing, there's less dopamine associated with it, right? There's less of a hit, but there's more peace, right? A lot of people will sacrifice their peace of mind to jump from an A- to an A, and depending on your your values, depending on who you are and what you want to accomplish, maybe that is the right goal. Maybe a lot of people will sacrifice going to Ontario for a job, but then they leave their entire family and their friends, right, for more money. Right. But what are you sacrificing and going to travel to Mexico or not Mexico, Korea with you, and just worrying about all these things, right? Maybe you want to achieve more and gain more views, but what are you sacrificing, right?
Yeah.
You're sacrificing the internal side of things where you feel that peace. And that's arguably, if people optimize for that and less for the materialism that consumes this world, we'd be a lot happier, you know? Like I know in myself that I would be happier without, putting myself on social media, you know what I mean? Like without this podcast, right? I'd be happier with just prioritizing sleep, dialing it in. But I also revel in a little bit of misery. I like kind of feeling the down times first, not hitting that, but to an extent. Right?
Yeah, no,
like
exactly.
Like I'm willing to sacrifice my peace of mind to be able to talk to people like you, like Kempis, like my friend Bobby, and just have these. Yes, it's a lot of work, but I'm weighing out the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, is this gonna lead me to jump off a cliff on Saturday? Or is this gonna just kind of have those sad moments and I don't feel good enough, but that's okay because I'm gonna, this is part of the process. I'm willing to absorb kind of the comparison and kind of the down points and kind of the doubt and looking at the numbers and seeing, oh man, this sucks. Yeah, but that's okay. That's just part of the game,
No, exactly. Yeah. Because it's like I rather be feeling like, kind of, I guess, like stressed out, even though it like sucks, like about views or about like what I'm posting, than not be posting like at all, because then I'm gonna be wondering like, oh, like what, like if I didn't post, like the what if I do start posting. But it's like I always like, what's it called, like not regret not like starting a YouTube channel like earlier, but I'm like, oh, I wish I started like kind of earlier, so like maybe I could have like documented more stuff. But like
5 years, it was less saturated. I always think about
that.
No,
literally, I'm like, if I bought a house in like 2009, then I'm like
Bitcoin when I was 12.
Exactly.
I was on my deck out back one time. I'm like, why didn't I just start this earlier? Why didn't I start full time at like 16 and I just wouldn't have enough money and I could. It's like, no, you're working with the resources that you have at that time. You didn't know, because you could say the same thing 5 years from now. I just done that one thing. Like it all makes sense in the past, like from the present, looking in the past. Yeah. But in the future, it's dark and it's uncertain. You don't know what's going on, right? But that's everybody's thinking that too.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I should have just bought Bitcoin and the Google stock, and you had no idea that nobody had an idea that ChatGPT was gonna take over.
Oh yeah.
Like I had no idea that ChatGPT was gonna be a potential marriage partner. Like I'm in love with ChatGPT.
Hard launch.
It's crazy. Do you have any daily or weekly mental health check-in habits or practices that help keep you grounded?
Nothing like honestly like daily or weekly. It's like kind of like whenever I feel like it, if I'm gonna be honest, like journaling and stuff like that. I really love journaling whenever my mind is like a complete ball of chaos. Just like getting your thoughts down like is like a really good practice for me. I used to do it like daily and weekly, but just like I had just so much stuff gone in the way. I'm honestly just making kind of excuses, and I should bring it back. But I've been like trying to get back into that, and so that's kind of like the only like practice I guess I kind of do. Otherwise, I just like try to talk to friends, reach out to people. I'm a very like social person. I love like if I have like an issue that I am having like a hard time like solving myself, like I like to like ask my friends and stuff like that, because I really value like all my super closest friends like opinions and stuff like that. And so those are kind of like the two I'd say like main things, other than like working out and stuff like that, which always brings a peace of mind.
True. So, growing up in a culture that often upholds narrow beauty standards, how did you navigate body image as a Korean woman in the fitness space?
So it's still like pretty difficult, I would say, because like, especially with like K-pop coming over to the Western world and stuff like that, like body image is like, they're just like all so thin. Like that's the kind of like ideal beauty standard is that you're like kind of like either taller or like of average height and like you're really thin. And that is definitely not me. I was really skinny when I was growing up, but then when I started playing volleyball in like the eighth grade, like I played like club volleyball for a couple years and I started like gaining more muscle, especially like in my legs and stuff like that. And I'm also like 4'11". So I'm like very, very tiny. It's been like kind of like it's been pretty difficult, I guess. Like it gets to me, it used to get to me, I think, more in the past when I would consume a lot more like Korean media or whenever I would go back to Korea and stuff like that. But I've kind of like navigated it a little bit, trying to avoid consuming like too much K-pop content. I still listen to the music, but like anytime, like I know in back in 2020 there was that whole like craze of like, oh, do these K-pop fitness workouts at home to get like a tiny little waist. And like if you're in like the what's it called, K-pop space, people will know what I'm talking about because that's when
my sister and my mom, they go through I know Boys Over Flowers. Remember that really old one?
Yeah.
My sister watched that when I was like 7 or 8, and I'd just be eating my dinner and I'd tune in too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm rooting for this other guy. Okay, but go on with you.
No, but what's it called? Like just like the culture there is all very like thin, and everyone like walks like everywhere. So like a lot of people, like not the whole country obviously, but like wherever there's like places that are walkable, like a lot of people are on like the thinner side and stuff like that, just because like it's easy like to walk places and then you're like burning more calories, getting more steps in compared to like here where it's like Alberta is such like you have to drive or else like it's so difficult to like get around unless you live like downtown or like White Ave or something like that. So like yeah, just kind of like distancing myself from any sort of diet culture. I remember watching like videos of, do you know the singer IU? But there's this, she is like a very famous in Korea and like pretty famous here, like in the West too. But there was this video that went completely viral of her like diet food that she would eat, and basically it was like something along the lines of like just an apple in the morning, a sweet potato for lunch, and then a protein shake for dinner.
Wow.
Like it was
that's some like
very extreme.
That's some Victoria's Secret model.
It was very, very
I've heard
extreme.
Of like a grape every single hour or something like that. Yeah.
Like so it was very extreme, and then like that trend of like those types of YouTube videos like blew up, and there's still like so many I get on my recommended that like still have like millions of views and stuff like that. So just trying to like click like not interested in those, or just like trying to avoid that completely, because it like puts me back in the like skinny mindset all the time, which like I'm like, ugh, no, not again. So just like kind of trying to avoid that completely, replacing it with content that's a lot more like of women who look like me, like other Korean girls who are very like into like fitness and like have muscle and aren't afraid of like gaining weight and like putting that message out and stuff like that. And just I've recently followed like a ton of like Korean powerlifters and stuff like that. The sport is still very small there, but like it's really cool to kind of like see it growing and interact with these women who like are also trying to like break the kind of like barrier of like, oh, you have to be like thin your whole life and you'll be super happy. So yeah, just like trying to mostly just like, yeah, avoiding intaking that content, because it's like you kind of everything that's you see, you kind of like it stays in your head, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, you'll just have dreams of certain things, and you get all, you try to dream analysis it and like, oh, it's because of that one TikTok clip.
No,
it's
exactly.
common for me. You need to subside that. But within Filipino culture, there's just something about weight seems to be just like compared to here.
Mm-hmm.
If you told someone that they got bigger, that'd be like very rude. Hey?
Yeah, no, it's
but
same thing in
the
Korea.
Philippines, when my dad had like would visit us, because at this point we were still in the Philippines. This is back in
Right.
2007, prior to us migrating to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Like our family members would see my dad, and he'd gained some like 10, 20 pounds, and
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like, wow, you got bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And they just laugh it off. But if you did that
Yeah.
here, it'd be like, oh, like there's a lot of fat shaming and even skin,
Mhm.
like body shaming in the Philippines. Is it the same in Korea as well?
Yeah, like I think it's just honestly like the more like Asian people I talk to, no matter where you're from in Asia, it's just like a thing to go like, oh, like you lost weight, oh, you gained weight. And like like my parents, like they don't do it often anymore, because I've like told them, I'm like, girl, you can't be saying that
We're
here.
in
Like
Canada now.
no,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah.
Like they don't say it to like Canadian people, but it's like if you like see like a Korean friend, it's like it's such a normalized thing to say, which
Mhm.
is so interesting, because if you said that to anybody here, it's like, bro, that's so rude. And like it is rude. So I'm like,
I had this coworker at this sign factory that I used to work at, and yeah, he had been here for like 10 plus years, and he was
Mhm.
already a dad. And we had this other coworker who had gone on vacation, and
mhm,
she came back, and she was a little bit chubby, right? And
mhm.
you don't, like, maybe you notice it. It's in your head, like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it's just a lot of food there and just
Yeah.
comfortable vacation, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, you got bigger. And HR got involved, and all this. And he was like, he
the
was Filipino, and
audacity.
I get it, like where he's coming from. He wasn't trying to be rude.
Yeah,
He's just
but,
kind of
like-
taking some cultural norms and applying
Yeah.
it here. And it's like, can't do that. So he had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's crazy. No, that's like it's like so normalized in Asian culture, but like I don't think they understand still like how toxic it is, because it's like, oh, like if you say like, oh, you look thinner, it's like a compliment. Like it's like a compliment, but like that's so bad too.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, what if you like that person was like sick and like lost weight and so like you
Mhm.
never know like what the person is going through.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like just keep things in your brain. Like don't say them
Yeah.
out loud.
Like, could you like, that's essentially just calling someone like ugly, or
Exactly.
it's just like, hey, you got uglier. It's like,
Yeah.
nobody says that, right? But that's like, depending on what their goals are. If you're calling them skinny, you could be implying that they're not beautiful, right? If they're calling them
Yeah.
bigger, it's like, maybe if you're like a bodybuilder, like, oh, thank you, man. But if you don't really know, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Because like whenever someone now that like I like weightlift a lot and people are like, oh, like you're looking huge, I'm like, oh, thank you. But then like I know like that like when I was younger, I probably would have taken like very much offense to that. No, literally. But like it kind of sucks
Yeah.
that like
Mhm.
these things that we say are like towards such negative connotations and like stuff like that. Like people treat fat as such like an ugly word, and it's like it's not. Like it doesn't. It's just because people in society have like made it that
Yeah.
way, and it's very sad.
I thought about this just recently, actually, is you can have like an entire conversation with someone, and it could be smooth sailing. You guys talk about just jokes or like
yeah.
mutual interests and all these things, but all it takes is 3 words, and those words can be tattooed onto someone's mind for decades. Like,
Mhm.
there's always a story of this one kid that told you something in middle school or like elementary that's just stuck with you.
Yeah.
Some chick told me I need to enunciate myself properly and stop speaking gibberish and all this stuff, and I just it was so mean, but like
Yeah.
it stuck with me, right? And it's just like, it's crazy just how powerful words can be, right?
Mhm.
If you can be friends with someone, and if they say something that's like the truth, right? Maybe they do have good intention, it stings, right? And it's crazy how words can do that. It's like
Yeah.
3 words, and then boom, your entire self-esteem, when really it shouldn't matter what they say, right? But it's hard.
But it's hard. No,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
my biggest pet peeve, because I've always like been like growing up, like I'd say like a pretty loud kid, and like I remember in like it was either junior high or high school, someone was like, "Oh, you laugh like so loudly," and I was like, damn, okay. Like
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm like anytime someone says something negative about someone's laugh, like to me it just hurts because it's like laughing is such a joyful thing, you know? It's like you should be able to do it freely and like not have to go like, okay, I'll laugh quietly now, I guess. So
Were you like, fuck you?
No,
Yeah.
I think I literally was like, okay, and then I stopped laughing.
Yeah.
Whatever I was laughing
That's
at.
like that's always our initial reaction, hey? Especially for like younger. It seemed like the older you get, the less potent words get. Like sure, it still affects you. Like if somebody called me ugly, if somebody called me like disrespectful or something internal or external, it still stings. But when you're in middle school or even worse, elementary, if somebody said you were ugly, it just sticks. Like it sticks with you. And as you grow up, it kind of dissipates as much or it intensifies.
No, exactly.
Yeah. What kind of reactions do you receive from the East Asian community regarding your stance on body positivity and lifting?
Yeah, mostly and thankfully very positive things. It's a lot of like, I'm very lucky that the audience I have on social media is largely like Asian women and girls and stuff like that. So a lot of just like, oh, like I wish I saw this when I was younger and like stuff like that, which makes me super happy because like I feel like growing up, I really needed like some more like, what's it called? Like body representation within like the East Asian community and stuff like that. So like now seeing like girls who are like younger, even my cousin who she just turned 18, she like has been going to the gym for like 2 years now already because like she's seen like me and also like other online influences like being like, oh, like I'm Asian, I go to the gym and I like still have muscles and I'm trying to gain muscle. It's just like really like awesome to see. And I like am very grateful that I also have this little group chat of other like Asian girls and we all like kind of we talk about our struggles and like we talk about what it's like being like an Asian woman like in this kind of like industry in like the corner of the internet, and we like do collabs and stuff like that. So it's just been like overall really, really positive. Any like negativity I've gotten is usually just from some random white man. So I'm like, I'm not gonna take your opinion into account.
What do they say?
I've gotten multiple comments of like, you're not wearing enough clothes at the gym, like you're like fat and like, oh, you're building too much muscle and stuff like that. Like I've gotten tons of comments like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
and it's funny because none of them would ever do that in person.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like they would never but behind a keyboard, behind their phones, they're warriors, right? They're
exactly.
just they think they can just say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And it's like it's usually the same perpetrators because chances are they do that for fun. You know, like it pops up in their feed and they're like I had someone comment, you got to upgrade your equipment. Like what? Like you gotta, this is shit, or like why? Stop saying this, and this is not this is not your space, right? Go and play somewhere else, right? If you got nothing constructive to say, so whose phone is that?
Sorry, I think
it's fine.
What were we saying again?
What were we saying?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, just hate comments online.
Right? Yeah.
It's crazy.
No,
it's crazy how people just transform. Like it must be like the built up tension, hey? Because I wonder what these people are like in person.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do you think they actually have friends?
I don't even know, because like so I usually like try not to like reply to like any of these people because like it's just gonna aggravate them more, right? Or sometimes like there's just one dude recently who's been commenting a bunch of stuff and I'll just be like, oh, thank you, you're so kind, like just to like piss him off because I'm like whatever, I really don't care. But this one guy, like a couple months ago, he had like his account was public and it said he was a personal trainer. I'm like, you're like talking shit in my comments and your personal trainer.
Oh, wow,
I'm
that's rare because usually the shit talkers are private and they got they got nothing, no content.
And I was
anything.
like completely gagged because like he had a daughter like in his like profile, like this like small daughter, and I'm like, I can't imagine like what you're saying to her, what you're gonna say to her when you're like growing up, when you're saying these like random comments to like women you don't even know. So I'm like, this is like crazy. So I don't know how they're like in person, but I'm like, this is crazy that you're just saying this on your personal account, that like, because like you've seen people like say stuff like on TikTok, and then they find their Facebook, then they find their workplace, and then they get fired from their workplace. Like things like these, even though they're little, have real world consequences. So it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I came across a before and after of this celebrity. I forget who it was, but she just aged badly, and it was like an A-list celebrity back then, some singer. And I look at all the comments, and it's all just like commenting on how horrible she looks and like how she's not taking care of herself, just outright insults with like no compassion.
That's
and
crazy.
I look in the Facebook profiles, and it's like a mom of 4, it's like a dad of 2. It's like you could see the profile pictures, like this guy, middle-aged, like looking real happy with his golden lab, and the next picture is like with his daughter. I'm like, why are you commenting this? Like you don't need to. Like, that's why I feel kind of bad for celebrities at times, because they're under a microscope, right?
Yeah.
And it's the ones with the harshest comments are like people who have their lives intact, which kind of like destroys my mental framework about that certain thing, which is because a lot of people say, oh, those haters, they're losers, right? They don't have anything going for them. But what if the hater is actually like a supporting member of society, right?
I'm like, damn.
Then it's like, okay, what's going on in their heads? Like, it must be not good, It's like, why are you doing this? Go spend time with your family.
No, exactly. I'm like, you just bored. Like, damn.
Yeah. How do you think the conversation around body acceptance is evolving in Korea and broader Asian communities, especially among women?
See, like, I'd like to say that it's like slowly opening up, but Korea's still like decently like conservative, like with the way like people dress. Like, I think now that like tourism has like become like a lot bigger there in the past like decade, it's like becoming a lot more normalized, because you'll see like foreigners who like come by like wearing whatever they want and like stuff like that. But typically, like a lot of the time in Korea, like it's kind of like you'll get more stares if you're like wearing like a more cut out top and then like long bottoms. But if you're wearing like a tiny mini skirt and like you're covering up like your arms and stuff like that, people like that's more normal. So like I think it's becoming like a little more like normalized and stuff like that, but it's a very slow progression. Like I think online it's become like a lot more accepted, but then it's kind of different like in real life, especially when you consider like older people who aren't like online or something, or like the elderly who like could be more conservative and stuff like that. So I think it depends on like which kind of like age group and like stuff like that we're looking at. But like I think overall it's like improved, but it's still like kind of like a long way to go compared to like other parts of Asia that are like more like accepting and like open about that kind of stuff,
Do you go back home to Korea a lot?
I go back at least like every 2 years, but last time I went was like 2 years ago, and so because I have family over there, so we go and like visit them as much as we can.
You're still fluent in Korean?
Yeah.
That's dope. You can't forget that. Hey? Can't forget the culture. I take it you must be second generation then.
Yeah.
Because I was just in a sociology of language class, and usually the parents that come and migrate to Canada or another Western country where they primarily speak English, they're the ones that like have trouble with English, and they speak really fluently in the native language. But then the second generation still is fluent in both, but the English becomes the dominant. And so when you go back to the country, people say you have an accent. Is that same with you?
I am lucky that my accent, I personally, like I still have a little bit of one, but it's nothing crazy. Like I don't like pronounce, like I don't sound like super like Canadian when I speak Korean. Like if I listen to myself speak, I can like hear little things, but like I'm luckily like my tone and like dialect is still very Korean, because my mom like did a really good job of like after every sentence she'd say in English, she would say in Korean and stuff like that. So I probably like you can probably tell slightly if you really listen to me speaking, but like it's nothing like crazy, which I'm very thankful for. So
what age did you migrate to Canada?
I was actually born in Toronto. So
Oh wow,
yeah.
and you still oh wow, and you
Yeah.
still you're fluent in Korean.
Yeah, but because my
That's amazing.
grandma,
That's awesome.
yeah, my grandma in Korean doesn't speak any English, like to communicate with her and stuff like that. And my like other like family members, some of them like were not as good at like in English. So like I had to learn Korean to like communicate with
awesome.
them. So yeah.
I got my 6-year-old brother, and actually he just turned 7.
Oh.
He like we all want to teach him Filipino, but I think it's just, is it too late? Like,
I don't think so.
Yeah, like,
I try to learn Tagalog because I've had
Did
like
you?
coworkers. I can say salamat
There you
and a swear, and I can say I'm cute,
Say
and
the
that's
swear.
it. No, it's a swear everyone knows.
Yeah, is it patang ina mo?
Yeah.
Is that it? That's it. That's like the most popular one.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I just watched a Kurtzagrot video. Like the science like infographics show. I'm sure you've seen it. They have like a bunch of like little ducks on there as like little kind of spokesmen for them.
It sounds kind of familiar.
Well, they made a video about like Korea and like the hard life in there, because it's all about surrounded by like work ethic. Apparently it's up there when it comes to like when it comes to Japan's work ethic. Koreans just as bad, which is like it's driving
really bad,
a lot of people to just misery.
That's why my dad wanted to leave, like so bad he could not with the work ethic.
The culture is just like really judgy, and like nobody has peace. And apparently it's like declining the birth rates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like a projection where after 3 generations, the Koreans will be extinct. Worst case scenario, right? You know, what's that like?
It's really interesting to see, but also like, I don't know, like I think it's like interesting how like people like glamorize Korea so much with like social media and stuff like that. Like it is a really beautiful and awesome country, and there's like so many amazing aspects of it, but there's so much toxicity. Like even like Koreans who like are similar as me, like grew up in Canada and stuff like that, like a lot of the mindset is based on like how your like outward appearance is, like, and how other people perceive you. That's why sometimes I think like why like I get like in that comparison mindset so much, because it's like in Korea, like you're very like, what's it called? A lot of people like care about your appearance and like how you act and stuff like that. And the work culture is insane. Like I also like one of the reasons my dad like immigrated here in the first place was that he didn't want to work like 6 a.m. to like 12 a.m. like that.
That's
like
the norm.
Yeah.
And
like,
if you didn't do that, you're bummed.
Yeah. And you want to do that. And like the drinking culture is also crazy there.
Like
it's
heavy?
like, yeah, it's very, very heavy. It's like if you want to get promoted, if you want to have a good time with your coworkers, you instantly drink, and then like if you're not, you're like kind of lame. And so it's that like social like pressure and stuff like that. And in that aspect, I have no idea if it's gotten better, but I'd probably assume that it's the same, because those kinds of things are like really difficult to change and stuff like that. So
yeah, that stuff, like to an extent, it like in every single country, looks and appearance and kind of the work ethic, that's always glamorized, but it seems that in Korea they've just taken it to the next level.
It's kind of like cuckoo, like from like my, just from hearing from what my like friend or my parents' friends like are all doing, that it's like it seems like the kind of like stereotypical of like, oh, like you work from like this time to this time, like your whole entire life, and like the work ethic is like, or like the work like place environment is just like super crazy, and you're working all the time. It doesn't seem to have like changed very much, unfortunately. So
wow. Yeah. To the people listening who are kind of doubting themselves and want to put themselves out there and want to explore the world more, kind of achieve their dreams, right? What would you say to them?
Honestly, go for it, because at the end of the day, if you don't, like, you're gonna regret it. Like as cheesy as it sounds, it's like my friends always tell me too that like whenever I'm feeling down about YouTube and stuff like that, they're like, Dabi, it's crazy that you like have started it and come to like where you are like in the first place, you know? So like, and I much rather like in a few years look back and go, oh, this video was cringe, than like not have anything to cringe at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like and just like no matter what you're gonna do, it's gonna be cringe anyways. So like, might as well do it. It's like, if you want to do that funny little dance trend, like whatever, just do it. Like at the end of the day, someone's always gonna have something to say, so you might as well do it anyways and just like not regret not doing it.
Yeah. You
Mhm.
either suffer the pain of regret or the pain of discipline.
Exactly.
Regret
Exactly.
weighs tons, discipline weighs
Mhm.
ounces, and everything is
yeah.
cringy, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
might as well do it.
No,
Yeah.
100%. Oh, and don't be afraid to dream big. It's okay
Yeah.
to have big ambitions, because
Yeah.
in powerlifting, I really want to go to Worlds someday and like compete for Canada. And like, that is a goal that I know I'm still super new to the sport. And like, a
Mhm.
bunch of people have told me that it is like a big ambition, but it's like, whatever. I'm going to prove them wrong and I'm going to do it. So
Yeah. Why not?
dream
Hey?
big, dream big.
Yeah, dream big. That's I think,
Mhm.
didn't Einstein say that that's like one of the most powerful forces in the world, or
Probably.
imagination?
I think so.
Yeah, he also said a bunch of quotes that I don't even know he said. But for people who want to get into contact with you and want to find out your next projects, where can they find you?
Oh, just on Instagram. So at Sushi Canny on Instagram, or I have my email also in there. But yeah, Instagram is always a good place to go.
Yeah, that's Sushi, Canie.
Yes,
right?
Sushi Canny.
Sushi Canny.
Yeah.
And as always, to everybody listening and watching, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. Dabi Kim, everyone. Peace.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for
that went
having me.
cramped.
I know, me too.